right, let's talk jack stands. So in front of me, I have all the jack stands that I've accumulated. We got these ones. I actually got, so full disclosure, I got 4 sets of these, or 2 sets, I guess. But anyway, 4 individual jacks for this, 4 individual jacks for these 2 tall ones right there. And then you can see these are just 2 each down here, these Craftsman. So these are Omega. Let's see if I can get in there. Omega 22-ton jack stands. Omega lift. These right here, they are Craftsman 3-ton, and there's a Craftsman 4-ton right there, and then these are Esko 20-ton jack stands. The first set I ever purchased, I believe, I'm not sure, it's one of these Craftsman sets. And I kind of wish I had gotten 4 of, well, I wish I had gotten just a complete, set of all the same, because these are 3 tons, those are 4 tons, the yellow ones. So I got those, and I've been on the car with those, but I was always skeptical of their durability and ability to keep me safe onto the car. So you can see I haven't even installed the little pin to prevent these from falling out. Ask me how I know, because I've actually experienced it where I almost took off a toe because this stuff was not installed. Actually need to do that. Hold up. This is gonna get, there we go. Anyway, so I was always hesitant, skeptical about being under the car. Even like on loosening the drain plug or something, just turning a wrench, I was worried about shifting the car or these things collapsing. So I got these, and then I was like, I need something better. So then I went back to the drawing board, and I found these. And these are rated for 22 tons, these Omega. And as you can see, the shank on these, they're pretty beefy, and they got these individual holes in there for you to adjust it. And then as you can see, you got these little cutouts for the pin on either side. The pin here is held on with a lanyard already attached to it. And I want to say this is about a 3/4 inch or 1 inch pin, solid steel, Neuron, all that stuff on here. So obviously, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get this with one hand, but you basically feed, let's see if I can put this camera down briefly. There we go. Set it in. I almost never use it on a very high setting, because as you can see, it will just come out. I mean, it will come out either way, but basically, I do like this. Everything hinges on this pin right here. Literally, the full downward force of the car hinges on this pin. And the pin and subsequent, I'm not worried about this portion so much as the pin itself. So, great set of jack stands, 22 tons. I mean, I'm just lifting, the heaviest vehicle I have is 5,000 pounds. So, I liked it. Even the top portion here wasn't that bad. It's not gonna fall out or anything. I mean, most pinch wells, they have a little, like a 90-degree cut to it. So yeah, I do have some pads for these, some rubber pads to prevent like marring and stuff on the pinch well and subsequent rusting. But yeah, nothing that I've ever found for these. Actually, I haven't looked as far as like I mean, I guess I could put some cloth or something on top of it, or just rubber. So bought those, and I was quite happy with them. Like I said, I have 2 more of these. And then I needed, the limitation I found with these jack stands was that, as you can see, the difference between this hole and this hole, there's quite a bit. So sometimes, unless you're gonna lift the car and set it down, if I was using like my quit jack, which even though I'm using a quit jack hydraulic lift, I like to use jack stands under there anyway, even though it has the support arm that is separate from the hydraulic portion on the quit jack, that is, if you're familiar. It has that arm. But again, that arm is like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a little pinch, there's a little piece of steel that's welded on the bottom to prevent it from sliding, losing pressure and then sliding. So I'm always looking at the limitations of these items. And then I decided, all right, well, I needed something that when I use my quit jack, I can have the vehicle fully supported, that there's no play in terms of it like moving. And this is where these bad boys came in. So these are no jokers. So these jacks right here, they're probably about, I don't know, I'm gonna say about 5 pounds or something, 10 pounds. These are probably around 30, 40 pounds or something. These bad boys, these these Eskos, they are about 60 pounds, 60, 70 pounds, if not. And these are the short style. If you go look them up, there's a short and then there's a tall version. These are the short. Because I know I wouldn't be able to get anything, a jack to lift high enough to then put the vehicle on top of these. So I got a short version. So the reason I like these have the handles that screw in here. I took them all out when I was moving. So they just kind of thread in here. And you can take out as many as you want, leave them all in if you want. Just so when you're rotating, you can just always have a handle to hold on to. They're currently in my toolbox. So what I like about this, I'm not sure if I'm gonna capture it one-handed here. As you can see, it's threaded, and this thing just kind of screws into there. There we go. I'm able to turn it a little bit. There we go. Actually making it taller. So this thing completely screws down in here. So this was the last time I used it, and this was the height I had it set at. I'm not sure what the internal mechanism in here is like, but I have an extra one. So I have 5 of these, because the initial shipment I got, there was one that was like slightly different, and I reached out back to the seller and they sent me a new one, and they told me to keep that previous one, take it to the landfill. I'm not gonna take something like this to the landfill. So I actually have 5 of them. I mean, yeah, something like this is overkill for a car. I mean, the 20-ton is, in most cases, is rated for a pair of jack stands. So essentially one of these would be 10 tons or 20,000 pounds. So technically one of these would lift all 3 of the cars I have, or vehicles I have, plus 1 more. So, and that's assuming 10 tons. One of these is, using one of these singular items, 20 tons, cut it in half, that's a 10-ton unit, 20,000 pounds. So yeah, at 5,000 pounds per car, roughly. So if I was supposed to find a center point of my car, one of these jack stands would be able to support all 4 cars, and I have 4 cars stacked up on each other. So I imagine to the cars on top of these, it's literally paperweight. But what I like, I'm just blabbing at that point. But anyway, what I like about this is just the ability to infinitely choose the setting that you want. And like you see the saddle on these, they're pretty nice. The wells, can't really see, but it's pretty nice. And they go pretty tall. I think they go up to like 26 inches or something tall. And again, these are the short version. But I'm actually, the last one I have, the extra one, I'm gonna pull it apart. It looks like it just has some nuts in here. some Allen heads, and I'll pull it apart just to see the construction. Because I'm just wondering if it just sits on this little lip right here, and then this just screws down into the internal portion, and this is just a hollow portion to receive the threaded unit. That's what I'm thinking is. And it probably has some bearings or something, because I mean, this thing is, I mean, you don't hear anything. It's it's smooth. It's, I mean, when I was loading my U-Haul, my Milwaukee boxes that were fully loaded, and I was like winching them up the ramp. The U-Haul ramp is rated for 1,000 pounds. And I was able to put these onto the ramp, adjust them appropriately, stagger them, of course, and then the ramp never had any flex or any give. So anyway, jack stands. This shows all variation of prices. So these were like, I don't know, I think it came with a jack, which I still have, a creeper, which I still have, neither of which I use really. So it was like my initial purchases of trying to feel out what I need. So the only time I'll use these, like I'll use these if I'm not getting under the car, if I'm just gonna jack the car up high enough to remove a tire. Whether or not I'm gonna like wash the car or something, and I wanna, you know, remove the tires to clean the inside of the wheel well and behind the tires, I'll put the car on those. If I'm not gonna put any part of my body under the car, I'll use these. That's when they're safe. And even when I'm sitting there, if I find myself sprawled out with my foot beneath the car, it will click like, hey, that's not cool, and I'll remove my foot from under the car. So, but usually in this case, I'm using them all the way down. Like, they're not elevated at all. They're not elevated like this. They're completely rested on the surface. So, but yeah, chances are, and even if I was supposed to use them like this, I won't put any part of my body under the car. And I'm not saying anything about these, they haven't deformed or anything, but I wouldn't donate these to anybody. And luckily I have a set that if I had to show somebody, I'd be like, hey, you can go 40 bucks, you can go 40 bucks, you can go, I believe this was like $230 for two, like around, actually I bought it for like less than that. I think the prices are, if you check it out, it's probably in the upper 200s, but I bought it for less. For two of them, it was less than 200 bucks. And like I said, I got 2 sets. And then one of those, they're like, I wanna say one of those is like $250. So I end up, on a set of 4, I end up spending about $1,000, but the best $1,000 I ever spent. And absolutely no regret. Quality, I mean, they're not heavy. Like I said, 60 pounds, 40 pounds-ish, 10 pounds-ish over there. But these things, you slug them around once, you put them where you want them to go, and you can leave your car up there for forever long, no issue. I know this video is going long, just talking about jack stands, but yeah, these things are good for pretty much anything. You're just limited by the height, so these will go down, I forgot what the height, it's like maybe 20 or something, 23-ish, I'm not sure, but you can spin these all the way down. Let's see if I can do that just real quick. Maybe I can just leave this right here. Yep, maybe not. There you go. So these things, and you can see how easy they are to spin all the way down. There you go. So that one is all the way down. That one is partially undone. But yeah, amazing set of jack stands. If I was gonna do this all over again, I would just go with those. Like I said, they're not, I would use all of them for different reasons. Like those, like I said, if I'm just not putting any portion of my body under the car, I use those. These, I'll use them occasionally because right now it's the toss. This is like the middleman. So I'll still use these, especially if I'm doing both cars, like, you know, cycling between the two cars. I'll just use these also. But those are my primary go-tos. Usually when I'm servicing my car, you know, I'm rotating all the tires under the car. And then when my son crawls under any portion of the car without me just catching him doing it, I'm not scared about that one. But these, yeah. Yeah. So jack stands, talked about the prices, talked about the weight, what I think about the quality, different brands. I'm pretty sure there's additional jack stands out there, but do your research. Don't cheap out on this. Don't buy, I don't know, a $400 socket / ratchet set to break a bolt beneath your car, and then something falls, and then the car falls on top of you. I understand people have gotten away with these for years. Not knocking Craftsman or the quality or the brand. It's just when you want to feel safe. You want to feel safe and you want to feel confident working on their car. You don't want your mind being other places while you're doing something like that, because you always need to be focused on safety. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna quit rambling, so we'll just call this video as is. Anyway, like me always say, like, on a hate it thing.